Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back. Happy Valentine's Day. Isn't this fitting? Wore this just for you. Today's actually not Valentine's Day, it's actually February 12th. It's February 11th and it's 11:28 p.m. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, you can watch this video. I feel like you like it. I feel like you'll like it. Sorry, I'm a little sick. This isn't going to be necessarily pertaining to just relationships or friendships or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, wherever this takes me, but I have, I guess, a kind of idea of what I want to talk about today. But before I continue, do you want to see my painting? Oh my gosh, no. What the heck? I took myself on a solo date and I went to paint. Isn't it pretty? I did this all by myself. So as you can see, there's a lot of details. Like, I tried to make it as very blue green as possible. You see the white in the middle. And then if you see the little detail, it's like a wave splashing against the rocks and it's bouncing. I feel like I did my thing with this, honestly. I think what it is, like, I recently rediscovered how much I missed painting. And now I just want to keep on doing this. Anyways, let's get into why we're doing this video in the first place. So the reason I'm making this video today is because tomorrow, or I guess like 30 minutes, February 12th, I'm supposed to be meeting my dad for the first time in gonna be 24 years now, and clearly it's not happening. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm not really surprised, but I feel like it really just kind of solidifies the theme that I've been experiencing so far in the month of February. And I feel like for the entire month of February, I will be dealing with this thing. In the beginning of the month, I asked God to reveal to me what was holding me back, and he revealed to me that it was me and my unforgiveness. To give you a bit of a background story, when I was born, my dad dipped, and I'm not even just saying like dipped like around Canada, bro. He went to Taiwan. As you can see, he definitely went far. Like, he went far as hell. So when I was about 16, I got curious. I reached out to him. He left me undelivered. I reached out again when I was 21 and then 22. And then when I was 23, he reached out to me and said we were gonna meet on February 12th, which is tomorrow, but it's not happening. So I guess the whole theme of this is just forgiveness. I'm not going to say the typical words that we hear all the time, you know, let it go, move on, there's better, like, no. I'm going to be real about it because that is so hard to do, and I really don't like when people say that, oh, like, let it go, like, it's so, like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I understand, let go, it's so much better to surrender and just give it to God and everything, but it is so hard to do, and I feel like it's not fair to kind of generalize it and try to put, like, a band-aid over it, like, it's so easy to do when it's not. And honestly, though I expected this to happen, this kind of was, like, the cherry on top because I'm a ruminator. Okay, I think and I think and I overthink and I overthink, and I can overthink myself into really deep sadness, and I'm trying to not do that anymore. And I feel like over the past week, even though February literally just started like last week, I've been ruminating a lot. Something would just trigger me, and then I would go back into that kind of mind space where I'm just thinking about what happened and just replaying scenarios in my head, and I just really wanted to stop, and I've been really intentional on making sure that doesn't happen anymore, or just trying to control it at least when it does happen, or like catching myself in those moments, you know. Because if you're a ruminator like me, you're an overthinker, letting it go, writing it down, and just burning the paper, that's not gonna work for you. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you what I've been doing, and hopefully it helps you. So yes, journaling is great. Journaling is so great, and I don't know about you, but I can't journal without my Bible. Okay, so I do that every day. The amount of things that just go in my head sometimes is kind of like, what? I'll be thinking about the most randomest stuff. Like, it's really hard to manage, and it's really annoying. Like, it can become very frustrating. Like, I get really frustrated with myself. As you can tell, girl's been through some things. Like, in my first video where I put like, oh, how I heal from things, that was so general, and I realized that it was so general. I rewatched it myself when I was actually going through like a situation, and it did help because I reminded myself of the things that I used to do when I was in a similar situation or when I was in a similar mind state. So it helped in that sense, but I literally forgot how hard it is to forgive yourself and how hard it is to forgive other people. So when I'm in situations of loss or just anger, grief, whatever the case may be, the main things that helped me a lot was therapy and God. But I'm not in therapy anymore, so I've been relying heavily on God. So everything that I say is really going to be like relating to that, because that's who I've been putting all my battles, all my worries, all my fears, and all my doubts on, because I don't have a therapist anymore. I mean, I watched the YouTube videos, you know, I watched a couple of advice videos, but they don't hit the same because they all say the same thing. They don't hit as well as the truth. Without further ado, let's get right into this video. I feel like something that I've learned literally like a week ago. I mean, I feel like I always knew this, but it's kind of hard to do when people hurt you really bad, is that you really have to love people in order to like forgive them, in order to actually let go and surrender of like these feelings of betrayal. You don't have to like the person, but you really have to love them. And the only way that you can actually do that is being in your word, like growing spiritually and building a relationship with God, because God loves you no matter what. You know, all the things that you do, he still loves you. He might not like what you did. You know, that's why there's sins. That's why sins are sins, you know, but he will still love you. So I want to really have that kind of love for people, like where I can separate the sinner from the sin and just give grace to that person, because God gives grace to me. Like, I'm not a perfect person, you know, we're all sinners. And if I'm able to be separated in God's eyes, if I'm able to be separated from the sin, from whatever I did, and he'll still love me regardless, why am I not able to do the same? You know, like, why are we not able to do the same? My first reaction, obviously, because I'm a human, is was always revenge. I've been cheated on before, but I would never cheat back, and I've never cheated on anyone before. But like, it was mostly in the terms of like, I want you to know that what you did was wrong. You know, not gonna lie, like before I used to be like, God, like I don't like how I'm feeling right now. Like, how are they so peaceful? Like, how are they so at ease right now? And I'm hurting. Like, this isn't fair. You know what I mean? But then I learned I had to be still and know that he is God. He will fight for me. He will fight for you. If you do wrong by someone just because he did wrong by you, you're probably gonna feel it 10 times worse afterwards, because at the end of the day, vengeance is God's. Haven't you noticed, like, sometimes like you'll be in a conflict with someone like years back, and then for some reason they just hit you up one day and they like apologize, or like they're just very nice all of a sudden. They probably felt the guilt, because at the end of the day, God won't just, I've noticed, especially when it comes to my wrongdoings, God won't just let you go through the situation. He will make you go through it, but then he'll also remind you why you're going through that thing right now. Like, there'll be times where I'm just like, oh, this is happening because I did this. Heard you. Don't allow your flesh, your pride, your ego to let you do something that you're going to regret. Let it be in his hands. Fully give it to him. All your worries, your fears, your doubts, give it to him. He's just. He's a just God. He's fair. You know what I mean? He will not let you suffer. And I know that's gonna sound crazy, but you're not gonna suffer and then they're gonna be cool. Like, let me just, when it comes to really healing the wound, it's a process, and you really need to be patient with yourself. Like, over the past week, I was ruminating. Like I said, things were triggering me. And the thing about triggers is you'll never know what they are until they happen. Now you're crying. Hurt will go to anger, to bitterness, to a hardened heart. And that's the worst thing that can happen. Once your heart hardens, it's literally impossible for you to feel anything. It's also a very dangerous place to be, because you're also very much in victimhood. You're thinking that it's literally everybody else's fault, and you're not able to see your part in the situation, which is the worst part to be in. A hardened heart is what produces the energy for anxiety and depression. I was watching the sermon the other day, and the pastor gave this amazing analogy. You can't throw seeds on a hardened ground and expect for things to grow. It needs to be soft, right? Just like your heart. And really, the biggest way that you can soften your heart and just be able to receive love again that is going to be for you is if you pray. And not just pray for yourself, but pray for that person that hurt you. Pray for God to bless them, and pray for God to heal their hearts and allow them to come to full repentance so that they can see what they did wrong. Every time you pray for that person, a layer of that hardened heart is removed. It's normal to hurt when you're going through the process of betrayal. You know, first you're in denial, you're in shock, like you can't believe you missed it, you didn't see it coming. Then you're angry, how could they do this to me? Probably revengeful at this point, but you know, you try not to act on it because of what we talked about today. Then for me, honestly, it's isolation. I don't trust anyone. Don't talk to me. I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know who this person is. Don't ask me about them. Don't know them. That's me. But there's going to be a point where you have to reopen yourself to new friendships and relationships, and you're hard as a rock. You want to keep everyone at a distance. You don't know who you could trust. No one is really trustworthy. You're looking too deep into things. You're very paranoid. When I'm saying I'm talking about me. Like, I'm very paranoid. I was very paranoid after a really long time when it came to friendships. I did not, even like my long-term friendships, I was looking at them sideways just because of the things that I experienced. But this is the risky part where you have to completely lean on him, God, and let him soften you up. Let him reopen your heart. Let him heal your heart and heal those wounds so that you're able to receive the people that were actually supposed to be in your life to begin with. And the only way, and I'm telling you, the only way you'll be able to do this is if you forgive. Otherwise, you will be held captive to the things of the past and you won't be able to move forward. Betrayal can either hold us captive or make us seek him. God uses betrayal and disappointment to get us to be closer to him. Those are the times when he's around the most, when we're hurting, when we're sad, or we're depressed, we're crying. That's when he wants us to lean on him the most. So we have to let him in. I had to reshift my focus, and the way I think of it right now is I'm on a mission and I won't be able to go to where I'm supposed to go if I'm holding on to this stuff. For example, this is the betrayal. We're holding this. It's heavy. Because it's always heavy. And with time, it gets even heavier. If you're just holding on to it, it just gets even more, you know what I mean? Like, I know you guys have seen those people that are just really bitter. Like, they're just always mad. You don't want to be like that. Like, it's not cute. If you actually think about it, people will treat you how they feel about themselves. So if you allow yourself to carry that load and you allow yourself to be held captive by all of these things and all this betrayal, not only will you start treating people that way, but you'll also attract people that are also hurting. We're magnets. We attract people that are similar to us. At the end of the day, forgiving is for you. It's only going to hurt you if you don't. Love the person and just be wise moving forward. Apply these lessons to your life because that's what they are. If you tie the sin to the person, that's all you're going to see them as. And that's not fair because I know you've done some things that you're not proud of. It wouldn't be fair to you if people only saw you as what you did. That's not cool. So why would you want to do that to somebody else? When you detach the person from the sin, you're able to give them grace and you're able to give them the space to grow. You don't have to be friends with them ever again. You can set like thousands of boundaries.
These two verses show that two things can be true at once. You can't control other people's actions but your own. So as long as it's up to you, try to be at peace with everyone. But if you are dealing with someone that is divisive and not open to reconciliation, warn them once, then twice. And if they persist, have nothing to do with them.
But at least you gave them the place to grow, just like God does for you. Again, we have no idea what people are going through. A lot of people in this world wear masks. For all you know, I could be wearing a mask. Just joking. I don't wear no masks. To be honest, you're gonna get all of me. You're gonna get all of me or none of me. I feel like I've been very honest. I know my dad is never gonna see this, but if he does, I forgave you a long time ago. I'm not surprised. I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect for you to show. I was kind of like, okay, we'll just see. I'm not really disappointed. No, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that you didn't show again. I was actually looking forward to meeting you, but there's really nothing that can change from now on. I feel like I literally re-raised myself. Honestly, I wish we could have built a relationship. Maybe one day you'll come around. I'm not mad or anything. I've done a really good job of raising myself. I've done a terrible job of being my dad during teenage years, but in my 20s, I could confidently say I'm a really good father to myself. That's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Spread lots of love and love everyone. Forgive everyone. Yeah, good night. And it's always love, Creisha. Get it? That was so good. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.